You, council members, you must either do your best impression of a worm to look if you spawn into our clutches, or roll a deception check. Please, friends. You got it. Let's do a worm engine.
Oh shit.
Do it, Martin. You got this. Do it, Martin.
Oh shit, I think I know this, man. Yeah, I can't do this anymore.
Successfully captured the two spawn, which means we only need 3 more to save the evening. Carry on, people. It appears the worms need a nap. Say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, look at the slave before Look, everyone, that cast is
See what you said. Oh yeah, that's Council members! 3 worms spawn are rampaging the facilities, the atrium, destroying valuable artifacts and damaging the archives. Are there 3 council members strong enough of spirit to wrangle these beasts into submission? Quickly, please, 3 of you. 1, 2, 3, roll. Go.
sorry.
Oh, we have one success. The other 2, you're thrown to the regulations of the great worms. As they leave the atrium. 2 worms, at least. We rank with 1. Go.
I was a 1 and I arrived at residency and everyone was talking about the dinners. There was this going on and this and this and this. And there was no romance. And I kept asking, where's the romance thing going to be? What are we doing? And everyone's like, well, we have romance that hasn't really happened in a long time. So I got in my rental car, I went to Goodwill, I bought a bunch of cute little china and catering things and flower vases, and now we have our 3rd annual romance garden party. So, thank you so much for everything, especially for Mother's Day. It is so fun to mix and mingle with all of you. And so this is actually my last garden party. So I'm going to miss it. But I have a big box of supplies to hand to someone who drove and has car space and will be here for sure in June. So if anyone wants to help and take the box of the party supplies, this is set up to go forever. So yeah, especially the china, I have a special little box for it. And But so we've reached the dramatic reading part of our evening, and we read a parody romance. These are often written by romance genre lovers, people who just love the genre, but we all love to let loose and have fun and write something kind of crazy. So Rachel was kind enough to help pick our absurd reading for the evening. And yeah, get away.
We're actually read from two different selections because I just couldn't pick, but that's why I have two ones. So this one is from a book called Love Triangle, where a woman turns into a literal triangle shape.
I run harder, old wounds being wrenched wide open in my mind. This was not the plan for tonight, but if it's what's needed, then so be it. I run through the dark until all of a sudden, it's not quite as dark. I've got to the clearing, the area that means I've gone too far into the neighbor's land. Normally that's all the clearing is to me, just an empty spot telling me I've run too far. But tonight it contains a sensational discovery. In the clearing is a massive tetrahedron, some sort of translucent stone. There is an energy radiating off of it that is indescribable. I feel drawn to it as if I need to touch it. So I do. I run my hand down the smooth triangular side and a ripple of lust runs through me. I gasp and pull away my hand, watching the glow light up everywhere my hand laid upon the stone. A sudden ache in my groin makes me double over. I nearly fall to my knees, but I catch myself with one hand resting on the side of the huge pyramid of crystal. Touching that stone again causes my cock to go rock hard. My mouth gaping as breath shudders out of me. A wild need overcomes me, and I can think of nothing else but how beautiful the tetrahedron is. I look at the way it glows where the heat of my hand lands. I think maybe it's made of fluorite. What a lovely, delicate stone. I groan as I rub my crotch against one of the faces of the stone. How smooth the face is. How sharp the angles. Oh fuck, if this is fluorite, it might glow under UV light. That would be so beautiful. So beautiful. I wrap one arm around the triangular beauty and pull my cock out of my pants with my other hand. As I stroke the rock, I stroke my cock faster and faster until finally I splatter the shining crystal with my hot cum. Step back, putting my cock away, panting. My head finally begins to clear, and I look around me, fully realizing my situation. I just fucked a rock.
So that was the one selection. I don't know how some of you online may have been aware of the story Unhinged that what's time? Who knows? This is actually a book that came out from that author yesterday. It's new release, getting some Kindle Unlimited page reads here. It's a human woman and man who is basically the Kool-Aid man, like a jug of Kool-Aid. His father, got into it with, drink mix. I don't know. It's explosive.
I gave the head a slow, experimental lick, a cold little drizzle of more watery cherry spurting into my mouth, the liquid thinner than my earlier taste had been. I dipped lower, taking half of his shaft between my lips, the chilled glass surface nice on my overheated tongue. Also tasted really good, but I wasn't sure how much I should be enjoying it, at least openly. Did he get off on being guzzled? A quick glance up at his expression answered that question immediately. He absolutely did. His hand rested heavily on my head, but thankfully Red had enough sense to know not to push or pull me without my okay. How's that taste, Jules? You like it? I hummed pleasantly, the vibration making Red's toes curl against the punch-soaked floor with a muffled curse. I slid off with an audible pop, sucking on his tip like a straw. I was rewarded with a cool mouthful of chill-assisted cherry punch, which had always been my favorite, even before I'd met Red. Not that I'd ever admit that to him. But what the hell? I suppose I could stroke his ego and his cock at the same time. You're so refreshing, Red. I could drink a whole glass of you. That's right, Jules. Suck me down, like the thirsty little cup you are. I love the raw need in his voice, and maybe, just maybe, my new sex nickname was growing on me too. I answered by sliding the entire bulb into my mouth at once, sucking it like it was a cocktail straw in a thick milkshake. Red cursed again, his punch sloshing as his hips rose off the bench, chasing my mouth. Fuck, Jules, yes, like that. I can't. He shouted as a hard blast of punch hit the back of my throat, making me choke and gag before I found my rhythm again, swallowing frantically. No matter how much I drank, however, it just kept shooting out like a broken water pipe. And Red reached down to furiously jerk his shaft as it did. The hand in my hair pulled me off my tap with another loud pop. I instinctually closed my eyes as Red's punch splashed across my flushed face in thick, cold waves running down my hairline and neck. He pulled back on my hair to make my chest arch and angled in close to aim more thick splashes directly on my breast. The cold glass tip nudged at my right nipple, squirting a thin, hard stream of punch as it pebbled. I lifted my hands to press my breasts together with a grin, knowing a tit man when I saw one. Red jerked forward, sliding his still dribbling shaft up the valley of my breast and bucking upwards for a few deep strokes with a hiss of pleasure. We both watched him, slide through the mess of punch in my cleavage as the stream finally tapered off, slumping back heavily onto the bench. He panted heavily, grinning like an idiot, and looking at me with so much affection it made me squirm as I got up off my knees. God damn, Jules. I've never felt like that before. What the hell did you do to me? What you asked, Red, I laughed, swiping punch away from my eyes. I was glad that I'd tied my hair back. It would have been soaked with red if I hadn't. So do I look more even, I guess? Another glance at the clock told me we were almost out of time. You look even more gorgeous than usual. It's a high bar. He smirked, grabbing his swim trunks and rigging them on before tugging them back on. He stood reaching for me and holding me against him as he retrieved my clothes, helping me pull the wet garments back on as I grimaced. I hated wet clothes.
We can't deny that descriptive language is excellent, right? Isn't that what we're here to learn?
Introduction.
It's good. No, that sounds good. That sounds good.
This is good, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Don't change it. You're fine.
Armand Legrand, which is a celebrated pastry chef at a 4-star restaurant. Again about it. In New York City, his magnificent creations have made the restaurant famous, and he plans to increase his personal fame with his cookbook titled That's How I Roll, featuring his most popular desserts. The cookbook will be out soon, and Armand has been tapped to star his own cooking show on Discovery Channel. This means he'll be leaving the restaurant, and the owner and head chef, Pierre Bonnet, is not happy because he will be losing the man who has been the main role of his establishment for the past 10 years. Armand's wife, Jeanette, is also upset because she has learned that Armand actually stole all the recipes he used in his new cookbook from her family. The recipes that made him famous.
Wow. Deserve to die.
Always a woman behind me. Armand's ex, Renee, had dubbed him back when he was a struggling busboy. And pursued a moderately successful acting career.
Looking guilty.
She's taking out of that now, mother. Don't start for Aaron. I have no idea if that's in the script. It's in the script. It was a purpose.
It was a perfect
And she wants Armand to give her a role on his new cooking show. Laughing her face when she suggested it to him.
Not even a
Renee's current lover, Sam, is furious to Armand her help, but Sam is even more angry that Armand humiliated her when she asked. And finally, the owner of the rival restaurant, the International House of Croissants, is trying to lure Armand away. Armand had been leading them on, making them think he was coming to save their restaurant. But now they learn Armand isn't working for them at all.
trainer.
Armand has taken the opportunity of his featured appearance at an annual tasting event in which the city's most important restaurants participate to make this big announcement. Television crews from the Discovery Channel are there to film the present of the network while giving Armand the publisher of his cookbook promoting its release. After all the celebration, Armand does not return home that day. The next morning, the cleaning crew find Armand's body, bludgeoned to death with a meat tenderizing mallet.
We need the blood spatter.
Yeah, I know.
The police are asking everyone where they went after the tasting event ended. And while everyone seems to have a reason to want Armand dead, none of them have an alibi. John.
Can you tell us who's next?
It's in the order. Yeah.
Next up, we'll hear from Jeanette Lagrange, Armand's wife.
The missus and the insurance.
I like the podium.
Podium's off.
I'm still so furious with him that I can hardly see straight. I guess you all know about these two things you do. When we first met, he was working as a busboy. Did you know that? A busboy. But he was taking classes as a culinary institute, and I had a good job, so we got married. I paid in him. He started making these fabulous desserts, and he'd take them into the restaurant for people to try, and pretty soon he got promoted to pastry chef. It didn't take long for word to get out, and he hired him. They put the place on the map too. People came from all over the world for his desserts, and Armand was the reason Pierre finally got his 4th star. No wonder a publisher asked him to do a cookbook, and no wonder they wanted him to be on television. I was so happy for him. Until I first saw copies of his cookbook. They sent him a box of them a month early, and the book was so beautiful. I couldn't resist looking at all the lovely pictures of his luscious desserts. I love seeing them in person, you see, or tasted them either because I'm diabetic. I couldn't ever eat them, so I didn't torture myself by going to the restaurant or hearing people rave about it. That's why I never realized that Armand hadn't created any of those recipes at all. That's right. He stole them. Do I know? Because he stole them from my grandmother. My own grandmother. She owned a bakery back in France. When my mother emigrated, she brought my grandmother's recipes with her, but after I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a child, she put the recipes away and never made any of them again. My mother keeps them in a trunk in the house where I grew up, along with other keepsakes from her past. And after Armand and I got married, we stayed with my mother for a couple of years until Armand's career took off. Now I know that he must have found those recipes and used them to make himself successful. The irony is that my mother would have given them to him if she had known, but he didn't even tell me he was using them. Instead, he stole them and told the world that he had created all of those wonderful desserts himself. So he is a liar and a cheat. And we had a terrible fight yesterday. And when I confronted him with the truth, I was furious. But the worst part is that he wasn't even sorry. He laughed when I told him I knew the truth and was going to tell his publisher. He said no one would care. I cared. All he had to do was give my grandmother credit for the recipes, but he wouldn't even do that. I was going to confront him again late last night, but I left early. And he never came home from that stupid tasting event. I don't know who killed him, but it wasn't me. I'm not saying I couldn't have. I'm just saying I didn't. There are a lot of people, other people, who have good reason to want Armand dead besides me, too. One of them is that tramp, Renee Peters. She dumped Armand back in the day because she was going to be a big movie star. But you've never heard of you. You haven't heard of her? You haven't heard? Now she doesn't even get the B movie roles anymore. So when she found out that Armand was getting his own TV show, she came begging him to give her a part doing something or other. She was pretty mad when he laughed in her face. And then there's Pierre. He had no idea I was going to leave him. He was pretty mad about that too. You should talk to them if you're looking for somebody who could have killed Armand.
Next, we will hear from Pierre Bonnet.
Yeah. Slightest terrible punching.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to ask you again, paragraph. Your friend say please stop because you're German and straight I, for one, am not mourning on the blush. This would be was going to win. The wrong I did for him, too. When I found him, he was making crepes at a little hole in the wall diner. It's going until the end. Tell your story. Remember, this time we're not saying. He was making crepes the little hole in the wall diner, tossing tables in between. I gave him a chance to show what he could do in a classy place, where his talent would be appreciated. I made him what he is today. Oh, what he was. Yeah. Forgetting he's dead. Of course, I can understand that he wanted more. Paying him for getting his chance when they offered him the cookbook he had written the TV show. But Armand was such an ungrateful jerk that he never even hinted that anything was on. He could have shown me some respect. He could have at least pretended he cared what would happen to Baguette about it. He left. But no. Instead, he gets up on stage with a TV crew recording everything and makes a big announcement that he's going to ruin my restaurant. That was the first show he was thinking about. I felt like a woman that hit me with that bit. I was so angry, I couldn't even breathe. I knew what his meeting would mean. Baguette about it would become just another quaint French restaurant in New York City, where there are only several dozen quaint French restaurants. I eventually lose my fourth star, and I slowly got the business. Trying this gimmick or that one, trying to get back to where I was, but never to become a boss here. Nobody could pay it. That's so I thought. I forget. When Jeanette came to me last night, crying because she had realized our mom stole all her grandmother's message. She thought it was Ori. I guess I thought it was fine. Everybody thought it was a genius. In the end, he was just following the recipe. And now that he's published the cookbook, everybody will.
Since he's not the genius everyone thought he was, he probably won't be coming up with anything new even. Well, I guess he won't be coming up with anything at all since he's dead. I mean, for that but you know, and Jeanette is pretty upset, but she doesn't have any reason to accuse me of killing my mom. If I did, I'm sure. Besides, there are plenty of enemies I still not see. Any of them had a better reason than I did to pound his head in. Pardon the pun. Among what I didn't know, he'd been talking to George Sloan for weeks. George has a beautiful space, but his whole concept is ridiculous. Seriously? He thought if he stole a mall from me, he'd have the same level of success that I've had with Baguette about it. He needs a lot more than a good pastry chef. Frankly, someone had no intention of leaving me for soon. He was just enjoying the adventure while he waited for the network to figure out. You should have seen George's face when it happened, and he realized the moment I him all along. If anybody looked like he wanted to murder a mom, it was George. That's by name. He's a schemer, he's a someone, and a man treated her like he treated everyone else. Badly. So go ask her. Well, she went after the event was over last night. She had a much better reason to kill her mom than I did. And I can tell you right now, the event. My wife will vouch for.
It's perfect.
It's great. Henri.
After hearing from the laughing Frenchman, we will hear from Renee Peters, Armand's former.
I mean, that's its house to follow, but I'm not here to. Nobody's waiting me for his appearance. So, I have no idea why anyone's even talking to me about poor Uncle John's murder. We were over years ago. It's not like he even dumped me for Jeanette. We broke up before he ever met her, and I have to tell you, but yeah, he's a big, famous chef now. But when we were together, he was a total. I think he only hooked up with me so he'd have some place to live. I finally got tired of him reaching off of me. That's when he took up with Jeanette. Lucky her. You know what you heard. It's just not true.
This is true. It's never true. It's true, Dolphin. They're all.
It's not true. I'm the actress of a long and successful career. Did you see Gotti? Not the gangster, the movie with John Travolta. It was out this past year. I played Women on the Street.
Oh, that was you.
It was a small but vitally important role. I'm a working actress, so all these stories about me wanting a partner in my silly little cooking show are ridiculous. He did ask me, of course, which is probably where all these rumors are coming from. I'm sure he was thinking that all my fans would tune in to see me and it would boost his ratings. But I couldn't even consider such a thing. What was I supposed to do on a show like that? Give them a rolling pin? Seriously. I only came to the event to say hello to Armand, and I certainly congratulated him when they announced he was going to have his own TV show. I was happy for him. But I can't imagine why Jeanette is telling all these lies about me now. You think she was jealous or something? But I'm going to take Armand back. Why should I? I'm perfectly happy the same. Sam and I are engaged, and we have our life together. We're soulmates. Sure, be interested in our mom. I'm thinking that Sam can't vouch for me. When I was talking to our mom, Sam was right there. He could tell you exactly what happened. Sam has always been jealous of Vermont is famous, you know, and he was my first love. And of course, being with a famous actress can be intimidating to ordinary. Not that Sam is ordinary.
What exactly are you saying?
She's my soulmate. Did I mention that?
Yes, you did.
But also maybe a little insecure.
We don't.
In fact, if there was any truth to the story about her mom not dating the show, Sam could be a suspect in this movie as well.
No, you're throwing her under the bus.
But I do tend to talk about to the screen of devotion. But there's no telling what someone who loves me might do if they thought I was being disrespectful. Not that I was, might be right. Even if Sam had just heard it, I'm laughing in my face, afraid of what might happen. Let's not forget that George Sloan person. He was absolutely furious when Mom made his announcement. Apparently, Sloan thought he was going to leave Pierre to work at his restaurant. It's terrible in front of everybody. So I suppose you should talk to George Sloan, and Sam too, but just to make sure. I went out on my own after the event, and I don't know where Sam went.
No alibi.
And remember, I can't be responsible for what other people do.
Wendy's still gonna talk through your thesis reading. Wendy's still gonna talk through your thesis reading.
Ma'am, you are not in your living room talking to your TV. This is live theater. Treat it with respect.
Paint your hand cubes.
Renee, you're an actress. Have you ever perhaps played a children's author or a small film theater? Team?
I didn't do that.
We will hear from George Sloan, the owner of a competing restaurant.
He's up there being active. He's up there being
People seem very surprised. Look, I was trying to lure Armand to Pierre's so-called restaurant. So, this is not a big deal. It happens all the time. The restaurant's only as good as the chef. You know this. Anyway, it's a great place. Let's face it. People come to a restaurant for the food, which is why chefs are so important. We don't know this. Our mom was ready to make a move anyway. At least that's what he told me. He was flattered that I wanted international house in Croissant. I mean, he would have been a great addition to our staff. Was I surprised when they made the big announcement he's getting his own TV show? Of course I was. He never believed it to me. No. First, I thought it was be a great PR move. He can talk about his job at Gunfuck show, and that would increase our business even more. But no, he never had the intention of coming to work for me. He was just stringing me along because he enjoyed all the attention. I'll never forgive him for that. But that was all strictly business. Nothing personal. Certainly, I had no reason to kill him. People don't kill each other over things like this, do they? I mean, I know that the so-called actress girlfriend of Armand is telling people Armand and I had a big argument. It wasn't nearly as bad as she made it out to be. Of course, I was upset when he gave me the news. Of course. I may have raised my voice a little. I apologize. That was that. No, I don't. I can always hire a pastry chef. I let my own go. I thought, easy come, easy go, I'd say. You know who really had a reason to kill him? I looked at his wife, didn't I?
She was already mad at him when the tasting event started last night. They had a terrible fight. It wasn't there, of course, but you know how you can tell when two people have been fighting. Tension was the thickest. I heard her crying to Pierre about it. Something to do with the cookbook. Maybe she was upset because he didn't dedicate to her something. Whatever it was, the look she gave him. They were off. And don't forget Renee. Everyone knows she does. That partner of hers, Sam, supports her and always tagging out behind her like a bodyguard. You'd think somebody had it in for an event. But I doubt anybody ever cared to get angry at her. She'd be perfect for the role. I saw her weeping on Sam's shoulder later. Her spirit did happen. Sam was ready to do murder right then and there. So you see, lots of other people had much better reasons to kill him. And besides, how was the home in bed when he had something no matter what?
Finally, we will hear from Sam Taylor, Renee's lesbian lover.
Guilty.
This whole thing has been a nightmare. I was flattered when Renee asked me to be her date for the tasting event. It was really fancy with a lot of celebrities, and I was looking forward to meeting Armand. He was the feature chef thing, which is really a big deal. Renee told me a lot about it. He was going to introduce her to a lot of influential people. She was a great actress. She had never gotten the breaks that she deserved. Or at least that's what she told me. I never really thought she was that good. I fell in love with her and love is blind. I guess. Anyway, it's over now. I mean, I loved her. She loved me too, but now she's practically accusing me of murder, so gotta look out for myself, don't I? I know you're more inclined to believe a famous actress over somebody like me, but I was there when Renee cornered Armand after he made the big announcement about his TV show. As far as I know, that's the first either one of us had heard about it. But it only took Renee a few seconds to see it as an opportunity for her. Her career has been in a bit of a slump lately. We could tell. You know? Yeah, you get it. She did have a bit of a heart and gaudy. I thought that would be her big break, but most of it got cut in edits. It's great. And then the movie was the biggest bomb of the year. So he was really getting desperate. And as soon as Armand made the announcement as CEO, Discovery shook his hand, Renee turns to me and says, "Oh, you need a beautiful woman to be his assistant on the show. I'm going to offer him my services before he can find somebody else." Before I could blink, she was making a beeline for him, and I had to run to keep him. Just polite enough. Yes. But then she told me that if she told him, he was going to help out by being on the show. And he had this funny look on his face, and then he started laughing. What? Yeah.
You did it.
He told her that if he did get a woman for the show, she'd be a lot younger and more talented than Renee. You can't say anything. Poor Renee. She can't help it. She's not young anymore. And she's as pretty as any of those young starlets. I wanted to punch him, but Renee stopped me. She didn't want me to make a scene that would go viral in social media, but she didn't need that kind of publicity, she said, although I could see that she was as furious as I was. He only had to say no. He didn't have to be mean about it, right? Right. So I was feeling pretty sorry for Renee, even when she sent me home alone to go out with some of those people she met at the party. But then today, I found out she's hinting that he was the one who killed Armand. So I'll have to return the favor. They felt sorry for her, but she was the one who had a good reason to kill Armand, not me. And I don't think anyone should forget the owner of the restaurant where he worked, Pierre, what's his name? Smoke coming out of his ears when Armand announced he was leaving. Forget about it for the TV show. It just sent Renee away in tears when Pierre lit into him. Really, if I wanted to kill Armand, I have to get in line.
You threw me under the bus. So it is now time for you.
She said, Tracy was waiting. Tracy, she's a good little police stop. Maybe it's not for me. By the time the tasting event concluded, pretty much everybody was furious with him. His wife was angry. He over the fact of her recipes, especially he refused to give her grandma. His current boss, Renee, was furious with leaving him without even telling him ahead of time. His ex-girlfriend insulted that he refused to give her a role in the show and said, angry about the way he betrayed money. The restaurant, George Sloan, was devastated to learn no intention of ever coming to work for him. During the evening confrontation with Armand, he'd behind when the event scheduled, carefully packing up his equipment. Jeanette returned to when Armand did not come home. And found him happily thumbing through a copy of the cookbook that the publisher had presented to him after the big announcement. They quarreled. This time, Jeanette told Armand she was going to the media. She was going to reveal the truth about the recipes and the fact that Armand was a complete fraud. He was. She had his attention now. And when he realized that she could do him, his first instinct was to murder.
Everybody wants to.
He wrapped his hands around her throat. It's the workstation where someone had left a meat tenderizing on it. She grabbed it and stand. But she was too angry to stop. She kept hitting him and hitting him until he stopped resisting. Jeanette cleaned herself off his sink with bleach, wrapped it in a dirty apron, and slipped into one of the chef's jackets. She dropped the bloody clothes in a dumpster and was calmly having her breakfast the next morning. The police came to notify her. You ruined our relationship. You are not tolerating some terrible. Not unintentional and twisting road while listening to this podcast at all. I jack the stereo power button, dropping the cabinet into silence. Since I'm stopped, I close my eyes, force my hands to touch the steering wheel and focus on the speed. A knock on my driver's side. I yell, German way as far as I can. An old black man stooped outside the car, his knuckles still resting against my window. Hey, you okay around that lady? He asked, concerned and sweat right against his scribbled face. He wears a black baseball cap and a black satin jacket. Writing is clipped to his shirt pocket and his gold tip badge, Russell Walker, 30 Times Security Patrol, should also say Marshall Dodge City. That's how big it is.
As they came out of the dishwasher.
We're going to tape a little bit. I can tell one of the Stephen Hill ghost stories.
Okay, yes.
Yes. That would be fun. So there's some ghost stories that at Seton Hill that I found on a blog online. So, first one here is Brownlee Hall, which I believe is that one right there. It is alleged that footsteps can be heard running up and down the hall of the first floor of the dorm at night. When a student opens the door to investigate, no one can be seen, even as the noise goes on. Additionally, they say you can see the shadow of a girl who hung herself in her dorm in the wall. There's also a story of a mysterious purple light that comes out of the corner of the first floor room. Here's a big old 16 light because of the third moment at corridors. In the parking lot, the ghost of a priest has been seen crossing the main lot during the evening. And at the cemetery, people have seen a woman who stops traffic on the road so she can cross or hitch a ride. But when the driver brakes and looks for her, she has already disappeared into the fog.
Wait, where?
From the cemetery.
I drive to.